Hockey fans, welcome to this championship game of the Bloomington Bantam Winter Classic, where the Mpls Bantam B1 Bla team will be taking on Bloomington Jefferson. We are coming to you from the Bloomington Ice Garden in Bloomington, Minnesota. This is a rink has just undergone some renovations, and they've completely redone this rink. This rink that we're in here is the main rink that's used for Bloomington Jefferson high school games. This used to be a Olympic-sized rink, but they've reduced the size of the rink down to an NHL-sized rink now, and have completely redone the stands, and so it has a nice, fresh new look to it. The Storm taking on the Storm finished first in their bracket. In their pool, and will be taking on the first place team from the other pool, the Bloomington Jefferson team. They won last night over the West Fort Maroons team from Thunder Bay, Ontario. So they won that game 2-0. Storm won their game last night 5-0 over a West Dundee club from the Chicago area. So the Storm looking to bring home some hardware in this early season tournament. Teams are finishing their warm-ups here, and we should be underway in just a couple of minutes here. I believe for this game, it's going to be a little bit. It looks like we're doing 15-minute periods, so 3 15-minute periods, but I believe they have an hour and a half allotted for this game, so I suspect they're going to resurface after the second period. So there is a look at the Storm fans across the way as they're all decked out in their Storm gear and pom-poms. All right, Storm are going to start off with O'Day, Hutchins, and Lego on the front line. Colin takes the face-off, and he wins it. That comes to Jefferson, though, and they get an early shot. George T1 Ortiz in goal today. This one spun around the boards by Griffin O'Melia. That's picked up by Colin. Colin fires that down and got a little bit too much on that one, so that'll be an icing call on the Storm. Both teams get a line change early here. This one comes to Beck Shepner. He takes it behind the net, reverses around. Wrap-around opportunity. Nice save there by George. Ooh, this one comes loose in the slot. Here's a shot from outside. That's off the mark. That shot through the slot comes to Colin Moose. Colin Moose tries to get it across to Jackson. Jackson now dumps this one in. Back comes Bloomington Jefferson. Now here's Tyson with it. Tyson tries to skate it into the zone. He tries to get a shot off. That does get to the net, but it is a slow bouncer that rolls to the goalie, and he covers it. Will Marsh comes in to take the face-off off the board. Now it's come to Griffin O'Meal. Griffin fires one. That's deflected by, actually tipped by Will Marsh. Directed just wide of the net. Now there's a tie up here along the boards. Eventually comes to Tyson. Tyson over to Griffin O'Meal. Griffin rings it around. And out it comes. As nice job by Otto to defend in the neutral zone. Here's Griffin O'Meal with it, trying to skate it out. Kept in by Jefferson. Here's Jefferson on an opportunity, but nice job by Cam Adair to get back on defense, and as he does a nice job back checking. Now comes the Cam again. Cam out to Colin Moose. Colin O'Day slaps at it into the neutral zone, but Jefferson takes control. This one goes all the way down. Back picks it up off the back wall, comes to Cam Adair. Cam over to Colin Moose. Here's George with it. George out to Colin. Colin skates it through the neutral zone. He's going to dump it and go off for a line change. Fresh set of skaters out for the Storm. This one comes down where Tyson picks it up. Tyson over to Jackson, but that's a little too hard. Now Griffin O'Meal behind the net. Here's Tyson with it. Squirts away, but he chases it over, gets it back to... Oh, just offsides as Ben Scorey kicked it back over to Tyson, but he was just a little ahead of the puck, and we'll have an offsides call and a face-off right outside the Storm offensive zone as Will Marsh comes in, takes the face-off. Now kept in the zone. Here's Will with it. Will skates it ahead, looking to center, circling, centers it out. Now here's over to Beck. Beck is going to dump this one in deep. Will centers it out nicely. Now Will goes down, and we're going to have a tripping call. I think the Storm are going to have a power play here now. This Bloomington Jefferson team likes their penalties. They have a total of 66 minutes in penalties so far this tournament. And so the Storm need to take advantage of that on the power play here, as they've got a man advantage here for the next 2 minutes. Rung around the boards. That one gets away from Cam and goes all the way down for George Lego. Now high up along the corner. Looks like now George with it. George fires one toward the net, and that is covered by the goalie. So the internet here in this building appears to be kind of coming in and out, so apologize if we're cutting out, but I think we're back online again. Colin O'Day comes in for the face-off. Colin still controls, comes to Colin, moves now. Colin steps in, looks for a shot. Ooh, Colin goes just a little wide, and that one bounces up and ends up on the top of the net. So we'll have a stoppage of play as Storm still on the power play here. Early in this first period, 8:55 left in the opening period. Colin on the face-off. He wins it back to Mark O'Melia, or Griffin O'Melia, sorry. And Griffin fires it. Oh, and there's a deflection into the net as the Storm get a goal from Otto Hutchins. I believe Otto got that goal. As that was fired from outside and somebody tipped it in. And I'm guessing Otto tipped that one in, so Storm will take an early 1-0 lead here. Here's Cam with it. Cam up to Colin Moose. Colin dumps it in. Now, here's Jackson Gaston with it. He kicks it over to Cam. Cam loses it to Jefferson. Jefferson comes ahead with it, but now Beck goes into the boards. Here comes Colin with it, and Colin moves, brings it across the line, but offsides on the Storm, so that one is fired into the corner by Griffin O'Melia. Now here's Will Marsh. Will Marsh skates it ahead. He's looking for a shot. He gets behind the net, circles, bounces off the boards back to Griffin. Griffin fires one, and that is through Archie's legs, but a little off the mark. Now here's James Meyer with it. James is going to shovel it back in. Kept in nicely by Archie. Archie dumps it in deep. Now here is Cam Adair. Now comes to George. George back to Beck. Beck is going to bring it across the line. Beck fires one. Oh, and that knocks the stick out of the goalie's hand. So goalie's without a stick now. If the Storm can get some pressure on here. Still without a stick. Now eventually the goalie retrieves his stick. Now here's Beck with it. Beck tries to get out of the zone. Oh, a loose puck right in front of the net. And another loose puck right in the crease. And now eventually comes to Colin. Colin tries to get it out of the zone, but still kept in the zone. Steered out by George T1 Ortiz. Another shot at him, but he's in good position there to keep that one out of net. Here's a shot from the outside that doesn't get through. Still loose. Now it squirts behind the net. There's a centering pass, but it comes to Ben Score. Ben fires it down. That's going to be an icing call on the Storm. So Lego come back down into the Bloomington Jefferson offensive zone. And there's a shot in the net by Bloomington Jefferson. So we're all tied at 1 now. Here's Will Marsh on the faceoff. This one comes to Tyson. Tyson back to Cam Adair. Here's Beck with it in the neutral zone. Beck's going to skate it in. Still has control. Gets it over to Tyson. This one comes out of the zone, but comes to Beck. There's a shot by Tyson, and that is covered by the Bloomington Jefferson goalie. So as he pulls it out of the air, and we'll have an offensive zone faceoff for the Storm as O'Day, Hutchins, and Lego come back in on the front line. O'Melia and Meyer on D. 5:23 left here in this opening period. This one comes over to Otto. James tries to slap at it, but now here's another shot back into the zone. Now here comes Griffin over to Collin. Collin's going to skate this into the zone. He dumps it in and then chases. Now here's a puck shot by James Meyer, but a little off the mark. Comes to George Lego. George kicks it back to Griffin. Griffin then fires one, and that is steered up into the air in the netting, and we'll have a stoppage of play here. 4:43 left in this opening period. Score is tied at 1. Here's Ben Scory. Ben goes down, but no call. Now Cam fires it back down into the offensive zone, but picked up by Jefferson. Ben Scory dumps this in. Jackson chases it. Now Beck knocks this in. Here's Jackson. Jackson maneuvers in. He's got comes in close into the slot, but got a good shot away, but steered away by the Bloomington goalie. Now Beck comes down, picks up the puck in the Storm defensive zone. Here's Bloomington Jefferson skating behind the net, circling. There's a pass into the slot, but that gets away. Rung around the boards. Tyson comes over to try to pick it up. Bloomington keeps it in. There's a shot from the outside. That's off the mark. Now this one's picked up by Tyson. Here comes Tyson across the line. Tyson trying to kick it ahead to himself, but good job by Bloomington to defend there. Back comes Bloomington Jefferson. That one's poked away. And now here's a shot. Nice save by George T1 Ortiz as he gloves that one. Colin O'Day back in on the faceoff. This one comes to Bloomington Jefferson. Here's a shot from the outside. Off the side of the net. Another centering opportunity, but it comes to Otto. Otto now skates it ahead. He's got Colin trailing. And he fires that toward the net and scooped up by the Bloomington Jefferson goalie. Here's Colin on the faceoff. He wins it back to Cam. Cam fires one. That's off the leg of a Bloomington Jefferson player. Now back over to Colin. Colin flicks it into the neutral zone, but picked up by Jefferson. They knock it back down. Here comes Beck to pick up the loose puck. Back over to Colin. Now Colin out to George. George over to Cam. Cam now through the neutral zone. He's going to dump it in, but that is again scooped up by the Bloomington goalie. So offensive zone faceoff for the Storm here with 1:53 left in this opening period here of this championship game of the Bloomington Winter Classic. This one comes to James Meyer. James slaps at it, gets it toward the net, and here comes Bloomington Jefferson with a breakaway opportunity, but good job to back check by the Storm as they're able to get back on defense. Now this one comes Jackson, gets thrown into the zone. Colin Moose tries to chase it down. Rung around the boards is going to come over to Griffin O'Melia. Griffin now shovels it in. Jefferson pokes it out of there. Now Cam Adair fires it ahead, but right to Jefferson. Now Jefferson back into the zone. There's a shot up over the net. Griffin. Now let's back to Griffin. Griffin's going to try to kill some time here. He sends it across the other side. Ooh, too hard for Will Marsh. There's Tyson with it. Tyson now gets it kicked out of the zone now, but Jefferson controls. 30 seconds left here in this opening period. Here's a pass cross ice that comes to Tyson for a second, but now Cam is going to dump it in. Kept in by Beck. Here's Cam with it. And that will be the end of the first period with the score Bloomington 1 and Minneapolis 1. Storm are getting instructions from Coach Chris Dake. And Tim Davis and Ronan Davis, the assistant coaches, along with Mike Jung on the bench for the Storm. Well played first period for both of these teams as they scored a goal. Fairly even matchup in terms of the possession time for both these teams. So Storm will go left to right now as we we start the second period. O'Day, Lego, and Hutchins to start the second period. And Colin is set to take the face-off here. Now this one, Colin wins it, but comes to Jefferson, and nice job by Otto. Now Colin tries to poke this away. He's still got control, keeps it in the zone. Otto chases it behind the net. Colin comes over to try to pick it up. Eventually won by Bloomington Jefferson, but now he's back with it. Now, here's Colin moves. Colin brings it across the line. He's going to dump it in. There's a shot by James Meyer from the outside, but that is gloved by the Jefferson goalie. Jackson Gaston on the face-off here. Jackson wins it back to James Meyer. James D over to Griffin. Griffin fires one. That's right on net, but in the pad of the goalie, and he steers it away. Now back to Griffin. Here's Griffin from the point. Griffin fires one, and nice shot by Griffin. Gloved by the Jefferson goalie. Here's the face-off. This one comes back to Griffin again. Griffin fires another one. That one goes into the corner. Jackson with it. Still controls. He flips it out, but it comes to Jefferson. And Griffin chases this one down. Eventually comes to Ben Scory, and there is a shot right at George, but up and over the net. Another shot at George, and nice glove by George T1 Ortiz to save that one. There's a shot from the outside. That's blocked by Ben Scory. That one squirts all the way back down into the Storm offensive zone. And Tyson intercepts it, and he reverses around, but nobody home there. Eventually comes to Cam Adair. Cam fires a shot, deflected into the corner. Now here's Cam with it. Oh, Tyson centered that one nicely out to Archie, but just a little off the mark, and comes to Jefferson. And there's a shot on net, but gloved by George. So both teams get a line change here with 12:48 left here in the second period as O'Day, Lego, and Hutchins come back in on the front line. Colin O'Day on the face-off. This one comes to Jefferson. There's a shot steered away by George. Now here's Tyson, there's a shot on net. There's another shot on net, and that one gets loose. Another centering pass for Bloomington. Bloomington now fires from the outside. Now it's loose, picked up by Otto. Otto is going to try to get it out, but he can't get enough stick on it. Here's James Meyer with it. James tries to poke it out of there. Comes out to the point. Another shot steered away by George. And this is poked out of there. Now here's a 2-on-1 opportunity. And into the net. Yeah. Nice job by George and Otto, as Otto gets his second goal of the game. I think that was Otto, or was that Colin? I don't know. That may have been Colin that got that goal. I don't know. Back comes Bloomington Jefferson. There is a shot that is wide in the net. So Storm take a 2-1 lead. Here's Jackson. Jackson pokes this ahead, but just a little too far. That's going to be an icing call. So that goal did go to Otto. So that's Otto's second goal of the game now as the Storm lead 2-1 here. Otto and George had a nice little 2-on-1 there, and George did a good job. He fumbled the initial pass, but then recovered nicely and was able to get it over to Otto, and he put it in the net. And now it looks like we're going to have a stoppage of play here. I'm not sure. Not sure what the call is there. It looks like Cam Adair is going to be called a penalty there. I did not see the call, so not sure what the penalty was, but the Storm are going to be down a man here. Bloomington on the power play here. Storm looking to preserve their 2-1 lead here. There's a shot. That one is knocked down by George. I think that what I heard was the call was roughing on Cam Adair. So, and there's a shot. Ooh, that one gets deflected up over the net. As I don't think George saw that one, but it was high of the net. So, oh, and there's a backhand shot that is flicked toward the net, but that was off the mark. Oh. That one went through the crease and over to the other side, but fortunately for the Storm, it snuck out of there. This one rung around the boards. Tyson now over here trying to poke it out of there. He does. Nice job by Tyson to get that out of the zone. Storm will now get a line change in. This one's intercepted by Colin. Colin tries to poke it out of there, still in the neutral zone, but now he's going to chase his man down, try to intercept it, but comes to Bloomington Jefferson. Back in the zone they come. 16 seconds left in the penalty. Now here's Colin. Colin fires one, and that is right on net, but picked up by the Bloomington Jefferson goalie. So 8 seconds left in the power play for Jefferson. So the Storm they will now have an offensive zone face-off here and effectively killed off this penalty here if they can keep it in the zone for another 8 seconds. Here's Will Marsh in on the face-off. And the Bloomington Jefferson player is thrown out of the ring as Will Marsh intercepts this one. Will over to Archie, but Archie can't get a stick on it. Now it's loose in the corner. Back comes Bloomington Jefferson. Nice job by Tyson to knock his man off the puck. Tyson swats that over across the other side. Now here it is behind the net. Bloomington Jefferson still poking at it. It's loose. Tyson now knocks that one all the way down. That's going to be an icing call, I believe, if it makes it to the red line. And no, come on. Come on. That was a weak call there. That's going to be called an icing, but So O'Day, Hutchins, and Lego back in on the line change as Colin is going to take the face-off here. He wins it, but comes to Jefferson. Eventually picked up by Cam Adair. Cam is going to maneuver out of there, gets it to Otto. Otto fires it down. And now, oh, don't tell me you're going to call another. No, they're not going to call another icing. That was good. Okay. Here's Colin with it. Colin centers it, but Jefferson. Oh, another loose puck out front. Colin got a skate on it, but couldn't control it. Now this one pops out of the zone. Griffin's going to fire this one back in. Colin now dumps it in. George chases this one. Now Colin moves, comes in. This one pops out of the zone. Here's George Lego. George shovels this one in. Knocked back out of there. Uh-oh. And Storm let player get behind him, and that's going to be a penalty on the Storm as James Meyer is going to get called for interference there as he takes his man down, but not a terribly bad penalty in the sense that they had a breakaway opportunity. So Jefferson on the power play now with 7:25 left here in this second period. Here's Jackson, Gaston Jackson comes out to Bloomington. Bloomington in the slot. Ooh, they let him get loose in the slot there. He had a good shot, but steered away by George as he was able to get a pad on it. Jefferson, cross ice, steps in for a shot. That's saved by George. Jackson tries to wrestle this away. There's another shot, but that one is deflected into the corner. So far, Storm done a good job on the penalty kill here. Now this one's poked away by Jackson. Jackson still has it. He's trying to poke it out of the zone. Does get it out of the zone, but comes back to Jefferson. There's a shot off the side of the net. Now Jefferson out from the point. Here's a shot from the point. That one's saved by George. Now Cam pokes this out of the zone, but now Tyson's going to fire that all the way down, and not a bad icing call for the Storm, as that gives they were a little gassed there, and this gives them an opportunity to get a fresh set of legs in there with 6:09 left in this second period. 45 seconds left on the power play for Jefferson. So Storm need to kill off another 4. Oh, nice job by Will to poke that one away, and that one comes out, and that'll kill off a few more seconds. Here's Archie. Archie fires this one, and that's on net. So back to Bloomington Jefferson. Now picked off by Griffin O'Melia. Poked ahead by Will Marsh. 20 seconds left on this penalty. Back comes Jefferson. Nice job by Griffin. Circling around. Here's a shot from the outside. That's off the mark. 5 seconds left on the penalty. Another shot. That's Minneapolis now back at full strength as the penalty is over to James. Bloomington still with it in the zone. This one comes out. Otto trying to poke it there. Otto gets it out of there. Now, here come the Storm. Back. Otto fires a shot. That's on net. Here, this one comes to Archie in the corner. Archie centers it, but nobody home there. This one's wrestled away by Bloomington Jefferson. They got a shot away, but That's an easy save for George T1 Ortiz as he knocks it down and then covers it. So now here's O'Day on the faceoff. He wins it back. Comes to the corner. Now here's Colin with it. Colin out to George Lego. Oh, George just a little too far for Otto. But George picks it up, and that's going to be an offsides on the Storm. As they got into the zone a little too early. So Colin, Lego, and Hutchins come off, and Moose, Scare, and Gaston come in on the front line. Here is Ben Scare with it behind the net. He knocks it into the corner, but still controls. Now he fires it back, but this one picked off by Jefferson, and back they come. There's a shot blocked by James Meyer. Now here comes Colin Moose. Colin Moose over to Jackson Gaston. Jackson comes in. That's poked off of his stick. Still loose in the slot, though. And now Storm still control. This one is knocked into the corner by Jackson. And this one bounces out of there. But controlled by Tyson. Tyson's now going to skate it back in. Nice job by Jackson to control it, but he kicks it back to Cam Adair. Cam skates it back around and comes over to Beck Shepner. Now here's Jackson battling in the corner. Squirts out of there. Bloomington Jefferson controls. 3 minutes left here in this period. Now here's a shot over to Archie. Archie dumps this one in. Chases it down. Gets there first, but Jefferson controls as the Jaguars spin it all the way out, but no icing call on that one, as apparently there was a touch there, or so the ref thought. This one knocked all the way down, and now they're going to call an icing on the Storm for that one. So 2:38 left here in this second period as O'Day, Hutchins, and Lego come back in on the front line here. This one's controlled by Bloomington Jefferson, steered away by George nicely. Here's another shot that's off the mark. That goes wide of the net. Colin now pokes it away. Now he's able to get it out of his own. Comes over to George. Here's George and Otto. Oh, and comes back to Jefferson as Storm had an opportunity there. Bloomington circling, firing, and in. That was a nice shot by number 11 for Bloomington Jefferson as he put that in the far side corner of the net. So that will tie it up at 2. So this one is playing out as expected. Both of these teams have similar records and are playing fairly even so far. There's another shot that is knocked down by George. Now here's Archie with it. Archie gets it up to Tyson. Tyson pokes it ahead, but just a little too far. Knocked down by Cam, but they're going to call a high stick on that. So we will face off, I believe, in the Bloomington Jefferson offensive zone here with 1:14 left. We are all tied at 2. 2 goals for the Storm by Otto Hutchins. This one around the board comes to Ben Scory. Ben squirts it ahead. Here's Jackson with an opportunity if he can get there first, but he has knocked off the puck, and Jackson is taken down. They're going to have a penalty call there. I don't know. That's going to be on Bloomington, so Storm will have a power play now with just under a minute to play here in this second period. So they'll have a power play for the next minute of this period, and then 1 minute into the third period. Yeah, as Colin O'Day comes back in on the face-off, that one gets tied up at their feet, and Jefferson just fires that one out of here, and that one goes into the stands. So we'll have another face-off here. Now here's Colin on the face-off again. Still tied up on his feet. You can get a good clean look at that one, and there's a centering pass that is through the crease. Colin defending there. This one's knocked into the Storm zone. Oh, now this one comes out and kept in by Bloomington Jefferson as they ring it around the boards and doing a good job so far of killing this penalty. Now here's George with it. George is going to skate it ahead. He leaves it for Colin. Colin fires one, and that's just a little off the mark as he was going top corner with that one. This one, George plays that one. Oh, and he loses control of it. Comes to Jefferson. Colin with it. Colin's going to just fire it down, and that should be the end of the period, and it is. So we will end this second period with a score tied at 2. Storm will have 1 minute and 4 seconds left on the penalty to start this third period. We will be back in just a minute with this third and final period in this championship game of the Bloomington Winter Classic. All right, here we go with the start of the third period here. Storm still on the power play. Another 28 seconds left on the penalty to Bloomington Jefferson. But so far, the Bloomington team able to kill this penalty off pretty easily. We're all tied at 2 here in this championship game. This one is poked ahead by Beck Shepner. He chases it down as now there's a battle along the boards here as Beck and Will Marsh try to wrestle it away. Comes into the corner. And that one pops out of there, and that'll be, I believe that one popped out of play, so we'll have an offensive zone face-off here for the Storm as O'Day, Hutchins, and Lego come back in. Here's Colin O'Day on the face-off. Colin kicks this into the corner. Kept in by Griffin. Griffin fires that one, but that's off of a skate. Comes to James Meyer. James rings it back down. Now George with it. George is going to reverse it around. Griffin picks it up. Sends it around the other way. Comes away to Colin. Oh, Colin tries to get it over to George, but that's poked away. Now back comes Jefferson. Oh, nice stick by Griffin O'Melia as he poked that one away and prevented the opportunity there for Bloomington Jefferson. Now this one comes to Otto. Otto gets this out of the zone, but loses control. There's Colin as he pokes at this one. This one comes to Griffin. Griffin over to James Meyer. James off the boards, but nobody over there to pick it up. Intercepted by Colin. Colin now skates it ahead. Colin coming in for a shot, but he is blocked. There's a shot by Bloomington Jefferson. That's gloved by George T1 Ortiz. George has looked good so far in net. This one to Ben Scory, now behind the net, is back now, trying to skate it out of there, but poked away. Comes to Cam Adair. Cam, don't put that in the center. As Cam centered that right out front, but now this one comes to Colin Moose. Colin Moose now skates it ahead. Still has control, tries to maneuver around, kept in the zone. As Jackson comes in to help. And this was kept in by Ben Scory. Nice hands by Ben to keep that one in. Now Jackson behind the net. Looking. Gets it over to... looked like a trip to me there, but no call on that one. This one's back now. Fires this one back down. Here comes Bloomington as Archie defends over there. Loose puck pops up in the air. Now Bloomington gets there. Archie got tangled up with Bloomington player. Now this one comes into the crease and it's scooped up by George T1 Ortiz. Exciting game here, all tied at 2 in this championship game. Now this one comes to Tyson. Now Tyson tries to skate it ahead, but he loses control of it. Now loses his stick. He kicks it into the corner. Now he kicks it toward the net. Now we're going to have a penalty, I think. Not sure what that call is going to be, but that's going to be a penalty on the Storm, I think. No, I take that back. That's it's a penalty on Bloomington, Jefferson. So the Storm will now have another power play opportunity here with 10:27 left here in this third period as Colin O'Day comes back in to take the face-off with Hutchins and Lego. Colin wins it back to Griffin O'Mealy. Griffin over to James Meyer. James fires one from the point, and that one is steered away. Goalie didn't know where that was. Colin has control but goes down. Now he gets it over to Jefferson. Now we're going to have another penalty here. Now I think the Storm are going to have a... No, maybe not. No, I guess it's going to be on the Storm, as that one's going to be on Otto Hutchins. I think the Otto's going to get called for interference, so we'll now have 4-on-4 hockey here for the next 1 minute and 46 seconds. Now George picks this off the wall, comes to Colin. Colin backhands it, but intercepted by Jefferson. That one is blocked and goes into the corner. Jefferson from the point, now down low on the circle. They come in for a shot that is into George, and George covers that one. Here's Jackson Gaston on the faceoff. Jackson wins it. Oh, Jackson, no. Jackson, little patience there on the pass. We got to control the puck here on the power play. Now this one comes to Cam Adair. Is that Beck? That's Beck. Beck comes in. Beck fires one. That's right on net as he gets a good shot away. Now Jackson with it. Jackson centers it in, but comes to Jefferson. Jefferson now back with the puck. Tied up along the boards now. It squirts away. Jefferson circles out to the point. There's a shot that's off the mark. Now loose puck. Comes away to Colin. Colin, go, 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 go. And I think Colin was a little bit gassed there. He didn't have much left in him to take that one down there as the Storm had a 2-on-1 opportunity. But here's a shot that goes into the corner. Picked up by James Meyer. James fires one. Hey, a little patience, James. Take it in. All right. This one goes into the corner. James Myers is going to come in. Now it comes to Will Marsh. Will Marsh now goes down. Will's going to draw the penalty as the Storm will now get a... Both teams are back at full strength, or were, and now the Storm will have a power play opportunity as they draw another penalty here. Come on, Storm. Let's see if we can get a power play goal here and put the pressure back on Bloomington Jefferson here. So 2-minute man advantage for the Storm. This one comes right away to Bloomington Jefferson. Now here's Tyson with it. Griffin O'Mealy. Griffin over to James Meyer. James going to skate it ahead. Poked off his stick, but shot. Oh, and there's a loose puck right up front, but comes to Bloomington Jefferson. That's a shot by Griffin O'Mealy, but he didn't get much on that. Now puck comes back to him. This one is slapped in by James. Here's Otto with it. Oh, that one squirts over Will Marsh's stick and into the opposite corner. This one's rung around the boards, picked up by Griffin. Griffin fires it, but that's into a Jefferson player. Now we're going to have another penalty here, I believe, as Jefferson is now going to go 2-man down. So Storm now have a 5-on-3 opportunity here. So golden opportunity for the Storm as O'Day, Hutchins, and Lego come back in. Colin here on the face-off with 7:15 left. This one comes back to Beck. Now over to Cam Adair. Here's a shot by Beck. That one gets blocked. Another shot by Beck. That's knocked down by Bloomington into the corner. They're going to fire this one all the way down. That should be an icing call unless that one ends up on net. And well, they did call that an icing call. So here's Colin on the face-off again. Colin gets tied up, but it comes back to Cam Adair. Oh, Cam loses it to Bloomington Jefferson. They're going to dump that one in. Oh, and that one squirts right out in front of the net dangerously, but eventually Cam comes away with it. He's going to skate it back. Now here's George Lego with it. Now Cam Adair. Cam over to Colin. Oh, and Colin puts it in. Colin O'Day with a score as the Storm now take the lead. Storm now take a 3-2 lead here with 6:29 left here in this third period. Storm will still have a man advantage now for another 1:15 here. And now we're going to have another penalty. Now they're going to go down. Now they're going to go down 2 men again, as that has been the issue with this Bloomington team, as they love to take penalties, and they are shooting themselves in the foot here, as the Storm will now go up 2 men again for. So they'll have a 5-on-3 advantage for 1:10, and then another 4-on-3 advantage for another 50 seconds after that, with a 1-goal lead here on the go-ahead goal by Colin O'Day. Colin has had a fantastic tournament, as that's his 5th goal of the tournament, and coming into this game he was leading all scorers in the tournament with 6 points, or tied for the lead, and so he now has 7 points for the tournament. Griffin fires this one in. That one is off the pad of the goalie. Comes back out to Griffin. Griffin over to James. James fires one. Oh, and that one's off the pad. Now here's Colin Moose with it off the boards. Back to Griffin. Now to James. James steps in. He fires one in. Nice. Beautiful play there by Griffin and James, as James puts it in the back of the net, and that'll now make it 4-2. As Storm have come here on a business trip for this tournament and have really played well. And they now take a 2-goal lead here, going into this last 5 minutes and 37 seconds of this game here. See if they can hold on for the championship trophy in this Bloomington Winter Classic. Now Cam over to Beck. Beck is going to skate this out. Beck skates it in, chases it down into the corner. Tyson reverses it back down. Beck with it still. Oh, Beck centers it nicely. Oh, it's loose in front, and that one almost squirted in there. Oh, and Archie had an opportunity as the goalie was down, but he misfired on that one. And there's a shot by Will Marsh as that one goes into the corner. Now here's Tyson. Tyson fires one. And that was a good shot by Tyson as that went off the shoulder of the goalie and almost scored it in there. And here's Cam with it. Cam off the boards over to Will Marsh. Will Marsh into the circle. Centers it. Loose in front, but covered by the Bloomington Jefferson goalie. So Bloomington now is going to take another penalty. So once again, they'll be down 5-3 here as Colin O'Day comes back in on the face-off here as we sort out the penalties. So number 23 for Bloomington's going to go into the box. So they're going to have 3 in the box now. So Storm 5-on-3 advantage here. 3 players in the box for Storm. Here's Colin with it. Oh, Colin centers it out there nicely, but no shot, and another shot by James Meyer, I believe. Yep. And back comes Bloomington Jefferson, poked away by Colin. Now comes to George Lego. George is going to skate this into the zone. Colin comes over. He knocks it down into the corner. Colin controls. Back out to James Meyer. James over to Griffin. Griffin. Oh, Griffin tries to fire. He misfires on that one. This one goes down. Colin picks it up in the corner. Skates it over to Otto. Otto knocks it off the back of the net, and that will go up and out of play. So 3:43 left in this game. 2-goal lead for the Storm. Jackson Gaston on a face-off. That one comes away to Bloomington Jefferson. And that one is right at George T1 Ortiz, but he knocks that down and covers it. Now here's Jackson Gaston on the face-off again. This one comes to Bloomington Jefferson. They fire that one right on net, but George in great position. Yes, he's had a very good game. This one is shoveled down by Ben Scorey, and Colin Moose comes in and intercepts it. Now he's still got control in the corner. Comes out to back to Colin Moose. Now here's Griffin in the slot. And Jackson Gaston behind the net. Circles around. Knocks that one back around. Ben Scorey is going to come over and pick this up. Now Ben skates this one in. Reverses. Comes back out to Griffin. Griffin back to Ben. Ben fires one. That's deflected into the back wall. Now here's Ben with it right in front. And Ben can't get a stick on it. Back comes Bloomington Jefferson. There's a shot that is deflected up into the netting, so that will have a stoppage of play with 2 minutes and 10 seconds here. So it looks like Bloomington Jefferson is going to take a timeout here. So we'll have a stoppage of play here for a few moments as the teams strategize on the last 2 minutes and 10 seconds here. generally speaking, a 2-goal lead is known as the worst lead in hockey because if the team gets that next goal, it puts a lot of pressure on the leading team to prevent that second goal to tie it up. But Storm actually looked fairly in control in this game. So if they could just keep their composure for the next 2 minutes and 10 seconds, they will take home the championship trophy here. Very nice showing for the Storm in their first tournament of the year. They took a couple games to sort of figure things out and kind of get settled in on the appropriate lineups, and ever since then they have played some fantastic hockey, and doing that again today. There's Will Marsh on the face-off. This one comes to Tyson. Tyson trying to wrestle it out of there, but it comes to Bloomington Jefferson. There's a empty net now for the Storm here. As Bloomington Jefferson has pulled their goalie. Here's Archie trying to shovel it out of there. Comes to Will Marsh, and that one came out of the zone and back in, so it'll be an offsides on the Storm. Here's Colin on the face-off. He wins it, but comes to Jefferson. Oh, and here's an opportunity for Otto. Otto trying to go for the, and he gets it. So Otto came in and had an opportunity for the hat trick, and he got it. He wrestled with it for a second, but eventually was able to gain control and get it in the net. So Otto is going to get the hat trick in this one as hat flies onto the ice. So the Storm are going to come away with its championship of this Bloomington Bantam Classic here, a Winter Classic. Here's Colin Moose with it. Now Ben Scory as he dumps it in. 1 minute and 15 seconds left in this one. Pretty much academic at this point. And Storm now control. This one fired all the way down, and that'll be an icing call on Bloomington. I believe that's Otto's second hat trick of the year, as he had a hat trick earlier against Mound Westonka in a game at Ritter Arena in Minneapolis. Back comes Bloomington Jefferson. Circling the net, 40 seconds left. This one squirts out of there. And that'll be an offsides on Bloomington Jefferson. So 32 seconds left in this one. The Storm will try to kill off this last 32 seconds in this one and be able to take home the championship trophy. Now Otto's going to shovel this one down in. Colin comes in as he's still battling. Colin trying to take it away. He's looking for another goal. This one comes out to Griffin O'Melia. Fired, and that one is. Otto tried to redirect that one and make a bid for his fourth goal here, but now Griffin O'Melia slapped in, and that'll do it, as this one will end with a 5-2 win for the Storm as they take this championship trophy on this Sunday afternoon. They will be back in action later this week, and then have another tournament coming up, the Minneapolis Cup, which will be over the Thanksgiving weekend. They will play in that tournament. Also a similar format, so an 8-team, I believe it's an 8-team format where 2 pools, and the winner in each pool will play for the championship. So we will be back in action later this week as the Storm will have another, can't recall the next opponent, but thanks for tuning in this afternoon, and we will be back on the air later this week.